Are you tracking the Facebook ad metrics that really matter? A lot of Facebook advertisers aren't. They often either get bogged down in small details that don't matter at all, or they miss really important stuff. I'm going to make sure you don't make either of those mistakes and go through my exact column preset, what we track as an agency. I think you're going to find this really useful. So I'm in one of our Facebook ad accounts and we've got a demonstration campaign. Now, this is a campaign that had sort of real world actions that took place because otherwise it wouldn't have useful data to show you. We spent just over £2,000 on it. So it's a useful thing to be able to show you guys, like, if you were running a campaign, this is how we'd go through it, right? So we start very simply. And I'm going to go through the columns, by the way, because I think that's the most important way. We're not using one of the presets. We're using what I call the ultimate column setup, and I'd recommend you replicate this if you'd like. Right, so the first three, we've obviously got what? We've got campaign name, we've got delivery, budget, amount spent. Fairly obvious, you want that metric. Doesn't really mean a whole lot. Next thing you get into is impressions, reach, and frequency as a sort of category. Now, there's some really interesting information that you need to watch out for here, okay? The first is going to be this reach number. This campaign reached 80,000 people. Now, it's very important to monitor your reach in relation to your audience size. If your audience has got 4 million people and you've only reached 80,000 of them, and because we can see the impressions is 167,000 and our reach is 2.09, Facebook is choosing to show your ads to this 80,000 multiple times over showing your ads to other people within your audience. That could be a problem. What does that mean? Facebook perhaps thinks that your ads aren't engaging enough, that they're not going to resonate with the rest of your audience, that your targeting is a little bit off and it's only this small pocket. Something to be aware of. Obviously, if we're only targeting 300,000 or 400,000 people and we're getting a reach of 80,000, that's fine. Okay. So that's the first thing to monitor. What's my reach in relation to my audience size? And is Facebook starting to rack up a higher frequency number without getting much audience penetration? Not much of my audience is being reached. If not much audience being reached, you need better ad creative. That's the thing I'd say. Then we look at the frequency number, obviously in conjunction with these two. And frequency, by the way, refers to how many times on average someone within your audience has seen your ad. And you get that by dividing the impressions by the reach. And we can see we're at a 2.09. The magic number when it comes to frequency is typically around a 2.5. When we see a frequency number of 2.5, the average person in your audience has seen your ad or ads in this campaign 2.5 times. That's when we often start to see ad fatigue and results drop off. So keep an eye out for that. You may well need to make adjustments once you get to 2.5. So that's a sort of a block that's good to check. Next thing we're going to go ahead and have a look at is our CPM. Okay, what is it costing you to generate 1,000 impressions? Now, I can't really give you a good versus a bad CPM number. It's massively related to where you're advertising, what you're advertising. But this is more of a metric that you track so that you can measure it against other campaigns, previous campaigns. If you're just getting started, you'll get a feel for this. And you'll see that perhaps some campaigns have a much higher CPM than others. That could be for a few reasons. Maybe your targeting's not as good. You're not quite reaching the right people. Therefore, they're not engaging with your ads. Therefore, Facebook is charging you more to reach them. Yes, that does happen. Perhaps your ads are just a little bit dull. They're not grabbing people's attention. Again, Facebook's going to do the same thing, okay? So you want to keep an eye out for a CPM. I know that advertising, a Facebook advertising related, in this case, a lead magnet, getting a CPM of £12.71, I believe this was just advertised in the UK, that's a pretty good CPM. We would benchmark probably closer to £20. So I'm very happy with that. But that's one to keep an eye on. That's going to give you an impression of how expensive is your audience, how much it's costing you to reach them, that sort of thing. Then we're going to have a look at link clicks in conjunction with landing page views. So it's obviously a good idea to see how many people are clicking, not just on the ad, you don't just want clicks, you want link clicks, clicking off, assuming you're running conversion campaigns and things like that. And then what percentage of those are actually making it through to be a landing page view. If you're getting really high link clicks, but not many landing page views, that can often be because, for example, your website is taking too long to load. Bit of an issue there. You want these numbers to be relatively similar, which these two are, which I'm very happy about. Okay. Another issue could be that if you're advertising on things like the audience network, you're getting a lot of accidental clicks. So people are accidentally clicking on your ad, that registers a link click. But if they don't wait for the landing page to load, they won't register as a landing page view. And if that happens, again, maybe you want to remove some of the lower quality placements like the audience network and things like that. Okay. Then we obviously want to have a look at the cost of those two. Really good idea to know your cost per link click, your cost per landing page view. Not the most important metrics when it comes to optimization. We're typically going to be going on cost per conversion, cost per purchase, things like that, which I'll get to later on. But good to know in relation to your other campaigns. If, for example, one ad or one ad set is producing a much lower cost per click than the other, Why is that? Is it because you've got better targeting options? Is it because you've used a video ad in that campaign and that's getting better results? Or maybe a slideshow ad or whatever? This is an important metric to be aware of and to optimize around your cost per link click and your cost per landing page view. Again, there's not necessarily like a good number or a bad number. It's more in relation to your other campaigns. We're always looking for relative performance. Click-through rate. Again, this is a measurement of primarily how good your ad is at convincing people to take the action you want them to take initially, which is click off the ad, go on Facebook. It's often been talked about that a click-through rate above 1% is pretty good. Anything below that needs work. If you get into sort of 1.5, maybe even anywhere near 2, like let's say a 1.5 would be really good and a click-through rate of 2% would be fantastic. Again, this will massively depend on industry. So if you're advertising insurance, for example, you're almost certainly not going to get anywhere near a 1%. If you're advertising, I don't know, cute little fluffy cat toys, you might well get a much higher click-through rate than that. So this is going to be relative to your industry, but 1% is a good benchmark on that. Again, if it's lower, it's the ads and the ad creative, and in particular the messaging and how you're getting people to take the action and click on the call to action button that's going to make the difference with that, and that's what you want to work on. Then we've typically got 3 conversion events that we're tracking here: leads, add to cart, purchases. Now, this may be different for your business. So it's absolutely fine if that's the case. If you're just a service-based business and you're not tracking add to carts or purchases, you're just tracking leads, absolutely fine. If you're just tracking complete registrations, you can use that. If you are an e-commerce business and perhaps you don't generate leads at all, you generate add to carts and purchases or initiate checkouts, add to carts, purchases, like customize this to your setup. You could even exchange these for custom conversion events as opposed to the standard conversion events, which is what these are. In this case, we were primarily advertising a lead magnet, which did have some back-end promotion to get people to purchase a relatively inexpensive course, an information product. This campaign was run a little while ago. And it's a good idea to see what results you're getting in terms of the proper numbers, to see the various drop-offs. So in this case, we are generating leads, then we're getting them to add to cart, then we're getting them to purchase. So we can see that of just over 1,000 people that became a lead, 160 of those, so that's going to work out 14-15% added to cart. I'd be pretty happy with that most of the time. And then of the add to carts, half of those went on to purchase, which again is pretty good. If you were seeing really big drop-off rates between these stages, that would be a great indication if that's what you want to work on. So if you're getting lots of leads but not much add to carts, okay, is your email follow-up sequence good enough? Or is your sales page good enough? Or is the offer enticing enough? If you're getting lots of add to carts but hardly any purchases, what's going on there? Are you optimizing for add to carts with your campaign and not purchases? Maybe you want to switch that around. Have you got a really high shipping fee that is presented on that checkout page? Is there some sort of checkout issue? Why are people not taking that final step? These are really good metrics to use to work out where you might be going wrong. Obviously, you want to be looking at the proper number that these things have occurred alongside the cost per lead, the cost per add to cart, and the cost per purchase. And we're going through a very similar process there. And you can often backtrack it here and work out, okay, we know that, let's say 8% of all the people that become leads are going to go on to purchase, something like that. Therefore, we need to be paying less than $2 cost per lead because we need to generate a purchase of less than X, or we need to generate leads for less than $4, or generate leads for less than 50 cents. It would vary depending on your business, but you start to get a feel for what each one of these is costing you, and you can use that information to your advantage. So this is an add to cart of $13.23, a cost per purchase of $26.30. That may be great for your business. It's average to decent in this sort of campaign. That may be too expensive. It will vary depending on what you're looking to achieve. Then we've got the conversion values, okay? So obviously that's how much it costs to get each individual add to cart. But if we were to add up all the add to cart value, right? So all what was in a cart, in this case, we're just advertising the one product, so it's not like that varies a huge amount, but you can see we've got just over £5,000 in there. Half of those people, as we already know, went on to purchase, therefore a purchase conversion value of 2,600 odd pounds, and that produced a return on ad spend, a purchase ROAS of 1.24. So you can see we basically, if I scroll back to the beginning, we spent on this test campaign 2,100 and we got 2,600 back. So it's an info product, there's no cost of sales or anything like that. So the campaign was just about profitable, but in this particular campaign, the main objective was to generate leads because we know those people are likely to go on to purchase our services and consulting and all sorts of other things. So if we can effectively break even on lead acquisition, which this campaign did 25% better than that, that's a very successful campaign for us. So you have to work out what these metrics mean for you and whether that's good or not. In this case, a 1.24 is fantastic because we're building an email list, we're building an audience, we're acquiring leads that can go on to become customers for our other high-end stuff at a profit because we've got this info product sort of in between that's helping us do that. That's a fantastic strategy working really well. But for many businesses, a 1.24 ROAS would be terrible. You need way higher than that. Again, not everyone's going to be able to track this. If you're a service-based business and you're tracking those sorts of things, then like leads and things like that, then you may not have this metric within your ad account. But for a lot of you, that's going to be really valuable metrics. And I think that what you've got here, there may be other things you want to add in, but what we've got here when you look through this column preset, and by all means, feel free to use this. Lots of advertisers use very similar setups to this. But what you've got here is a good blend of, there's lots of information that you can get. And I've just walked you through the process of how you might use these data points to diagnose potential issues or room for improvement. So a lot of these things work in conjunction, right? So the impressions and reach and frequency work together to try and diagnose if you're getting much audience penetration. CPM will tell you stuff. What are you paying in terms of cost per click? How does that compare to cost per landing page view? Have you got a big drop off there? We get into the various conversion events. Where's the drop off in the sales funnel? Where are people not converting as well as they could be? So there's lots of diagnosis points and ways you can analyze things to improve things. I know that if my CPM is too high, good chance my targeting's off. I know that if my CTR, my click-through rate, is too low, probably my ads aren't engaging enough. Lots of information, but you're not drowning. Then you're not drowning in information. You're not looking at things and going, oh, what do I do about this and that? And what does that mean in conjunction with this? And you need to consolidate. Facebook potentially can provide you with way too much data. You need to consolidate to what you can use and use that and proceed. And hopefully that's what I've shown you how to do just there. Now, if you've got questions about this or anything else Facebook advertising related, I would recommend that you become a member of my YouTube channel. You'll see that beneath this video, there's a little join button. I'll also include a link in the video description. You click on that, that'll give you all the details around becoming a member of my channel. The way it works is you pay a small monthly fee to become a member, support the channel, which is much appreciated. It also gives you priority reply over comments. So if you've got questions around Facebook advertising, you become a member, you ask them in the comments. I am answering every single comment that is left by channel members. Unfortunately, there's just too many comments for me to be able to answer all the comments left by everyone. So if you really want your comments and questions answered, that is absolutely the way to do it. Go ahead, become a channel member. It's by far the most cost-effective way to get me to answer your questions, and I think you benefit from it muchly if you have Facebook advertising related questions, and that's important for your business. If you enjoyed this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. Comment below to let me know either way. Even if I can't answer all the comments from non-members, I still see them. The feedback is useful, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Bye for now.